Hey everybody, it's Angela, and I am back to scrapbook another picture of our puppy Henry. And I'm going to use a background paper from this Hey You basic gray paper pad. And I like just the plain brown paper of that. And then this is We Are Memory Keepers Free Spirit, and it has kind of this textured black paper that I thought was a really good fit as well. And you can tell by the photograph that it's mostly browns and blacks and white in their very monochromatic photo. So I thought I'd bring in some color with this blue and gold from this paper stack, but I wind up kind of going against that and bringing it down to just adding a blue accent in the overall page. But I'm not sure when I'm starting here. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to just do something completely different. I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's not my usual style. But I'm also going to do a technique on the background of using a bunch of my templates and stamps. So you could use the technique I'm doing here with any color scheme. You wouldn't necessarily have to do this black and brown color scheme, which I know, probably isn't the most popular color scheme. But again, I'm just kind of going with my photo in this one and having a play with doing something different. But this would look great in a rainbow or, with bright colors and stuff. Now here's where I decide the only color I'm going to bring in is just that blue, because I have these crocheted flowers that I want to use. And then in order to make my background paper more specific, I'm going to use some of my stencils and some of my stamps as well. So I thought this was fun to get out some of these older supplies and tools that I have in my stash and be able to use them. So you can see I have a Crafter's Workshop template there of these little mini flowers, and I'm going to use that to start out with because they kind of echo the crocheted flowers that I want to use as embellishments on here. So I thought I'd go ahead and echo that. And then to stay kind of with my somewhat monochromatic theme here, I'm just going to use brown ink for all of my background stamping. So it'll make it very cohesive. I'm using this a little bit lighter brown ink here to do my background stenciling. When I do my stamps, I'll pick an even darker brown so they kind of stand out against this background template. So there, I'm just going to take these daisies, I'm going to kind of move it around and just kind of make a nice background. And what the dog is sitting in is just a pile of straw that's decomposed over the winter, so that's why it's darker. And he loved that straw pile. Every time we would go outside, he'd have to run over to that and jump over it and dig in it and pull stuff out of it to chew on, and it was just one of his favorite spots. So I wanted to go ahead and document that. And it's in March when he was doing this, so it's rainy, it's kind of dark and kind of dreary, so these colors are kind of appropriate for the time of year it was as well. So there I put the daisies down. Now I think of using these scribbles and putting those down, but I know I have a lot of very cool word stamps, so I go against that and I'm just going to use all my different word stamps instead. But I am going to put just a little hint of butterfly in a couple spots kind of mixed in with these flowers. So I pull out this one and I'm just putting not even the whole butterfly, just a wing here and there. And I think this one I make a little darker. Some of the things I went really light, some places I went a little dark, and it just, gives you a little bit of difference in value. I'm going to put one more over here, and I think that's pretty much all I do with my stencils. And I'm just going to make a central cluster. So I've kind of figured out where my photo's going to go. So now I'm just going to start with a bunch of these different little word fragments and sayings off of some of the stamps. This is a Scraptastic. And yeah, I just go through my whole stash. Some of these are very old ones, and I'm just picking out words that, fit, like adventure and love you. And this is a Felicity Jane. And I should have brought the layout here. Let me go get my layout, and then I'll be able to tell you what the actual phrases are. Okay, that one on the bottom right, it said play hard, rest well. Then we've got adventure, all day, every day, and things that kind of fit what he was doing and how kind of focused he was on playing in this straw pile. So with any layout you did, any take on this, just pulling out stamps that really pinpoint the story that you're telling. So whether it's a child playing, or whether it's a party, or whether it's a more calming scene at a creek or something like that, you can choose your words to really personalize the paper to your own theme. So that's what I love about doing this technique. So this stamp says some days you have to create your own sunshine. And I thought that worked nice because, it is March and it's kind of a dreary day. And there's one that's, seriously, and you are so loved. And yeah, there's just so many of my stamps, and they have stamp sets, they have these little tiny sayings just kind of tucked in on their stamp sheets, that sometimes I use the big floral image or something like that. And I don't use the little tiny sentiments that are on there as much as I should. So I like this one that says today. I'm trying to pick some that are bolder and different fonts, and that just kind of makes it more interesting to read all the different things, and yet it doesn't get too chaotic because it's all kind of in browns. But I would love to try this in kind of a rainbow order, going from like red all the way over to a different color on the other side, or going out in like a starburst of different colors. So I could see using this technique in a lot of different ways. It would be fun. You wouldn't have to necessarily do it just in this monochromatic brown color. So that stamp said pure joy. Got this one that has some little round. I thought it was cool to do some circular wording. I think this one says magic every day. And then there's another one on there that says good stuff. So I'm going to put that up on the other side, just peeking out from behind my photo. So yeah, it was so fun to go through my stamps and use a lot of the words and stuff on there. That one said happy. Oh, and then I have these that are just the months, all the different months of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and just put March in here because that's when the photograph was taken. And I've got this one which says explore. And I like the font on this. It's like two double lines on there. So I'm going to put one at the top there and then another one at the bottom to kind of bring that font down below as well. Oh, and I do it a third time. I put life on there. So that's cool. That's like a Stampin' die set. I've actually never used the dies on that. I've used the stamps quite a bit though. I have this rubber Prima stamp, and it says need I say more and life's stuff. Got that. And the only themed thing I put in this is I do have a bunch of footprints, and there's a dog print on there, so I do put some dog prints here in just a little bit. I think that one says special bond, made for this, enjoy this moment, the time of our lives, A lot of different little tiny sentiments. So I'm trying to do big stuff and small stuff, give a good variety on there. Let's see this one, yeah, now, and that's another one that's kind of a double line font that's open. Again, the same stamp set says love this. That looks like that's a Heidi swap. This is another from Scraptastic when I used to belong to their kind of Project Lifey thing. And yeah, so I just really love this technique, and I think I am going to try it in the future with a bunch of different colors and stuff. I think that would be so fun. So here's where I take the little dog print, and I'm just going to put that 3 times on there around the page. And then that's pretty much going to do it for all my stamping. So I've created my own custom background paper, which is, really fun to do, and, get to use some of those tools in my stash. So now I'm going to pull out I have one more stamp. I have a little gap up there on the right hand side underneath the word life that I want to put something up there. So I take this little XOXO and just kind of fill in that spot just a little bit. It was kind of looking barren right there. Let's see, so now I think we get into the embellishing. And so I have these crocheted flowers. I do not remember where these came from. I think they might be Recollections flowers, or they might have been ones that Olga crocheted for me, but I cannot remember because I thought I had used all of Olga's flowers already. And then because I want to use that blue as my only extra color on here, or pop of color, I decide to look through my stash and I find those photo turns, which nobody uses anymore, so I pull those out. I have that little remembered tag that has silver metal around the outside and it's vellum on the inside. It's been in my stash forever. Who knows where that came from? I have that paper clip there that works, but I didn't really care for it, so in the end it does go away. But I'm going to put the photo turns down with actual brads. So yeah, crazy, I know, huh? Nobody uses brads anymore these days, but I've got a little drawer full of brads, so I decide that I'm going to go ahead and use them. I like the little retro scrapbooking touch there. So yeah, that just adds a little bit more of the blue color. I'm going to go ahead and put down this word. Kind of fits in with all the words I have on my background paper. And then pretty much the only other accent I'm going to put is anything in blue and white that I can find in my puffy stickers. So I have these Recollections ones that have just a couple butterflies and the word hi. I have this pink fresh one that has happy and a bunch of little hearts. Let's see, this one is that an Amy Tan puffy sheet? I don't know, but I pull off a little bird and a heart. Yeah, that's an Amy Tan. And here's where I take off the paper clip. If it had maybe some kind of embellishment on it, I would have left it, but it was just looking a little plain there. Oh, that's the Recollection sheet I found. I noticed that there was a blue flower on there that I hadn't put on. And then I do want to mat this because it just kind of needs to be framed in on the outside. So I take that same kind of black colored paper and I'm just going to take like 1/8 of an inch off of my layout all the way around to give myself just a traditional border, and it kind of echoes the mat around my photograph. And so this is pretty much, I go ahead and get this stuck down, my completed layout. And I mean, it's pretty clean and pretty simple, but there's a lot of stuff going on here as well. And it's just so neat to have, made my own custom background paper to my theme of what's going on. So here's a close-up of all the different fonts. You can see the stenciling and that butterfly in the background and all the little flowers, the little old style photo turn there, the cute little crocheted flowers and puffy stickers. And then I put my journaling as just a line across the bottom of the layout. And there you go, just talking about his straw pile, and I put the year right below that, March. So yeah, so I really enjoyed doing this. Again, it's not the color scheme I normally would have chosen to do, but I kind of ran with the color scheme that was in my photograph and challenged myself to do something a little bit different, and I had fun with it, and I think it looks good. So anyhow, this is the second layout for his album, and if you have any questions or anything on anything I used, it's all old stuff from my stash, just let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!